welcome back to the channel. It certainly has been a very long time between my last video. That little COVID pandemic certainly put a dent in my travel plans over the last 3 years, but I am back today and I am traveling from Brisbane all the way through to San Francisco with a stop in Fiji, flying with Fiji Airways. Today, flying economy the whole way, and I'll be trying, for the first time for me as well, a Boeing 737-8 MAX aircraft in economy, as said, and also connecting through onto San Francisco from Nadi on an Airbus A330-200, also in economy. This is my first international flight in more than 3 years, so I am so excited to get up in the air today. I am doing a bit of a longer trip throughout North America over December 2022, and I'll be posting a few other trip reports and videos from my time on this trip. But today, let's go to San Francisco.
Another beautiful Brisbane morning. We're cruising over the Captain Cook Bridge, waving goodbye to the city as we make our way to Brisbane International Airport. The primary reason for this trip is for a dear friend's wedding near Toronto, and some Canadian sightseeing as well as skiing at Whistler. Now, full disclosure, Brisbane is obviously my home airport. It's not the flashiest, but it has that cozy hometown charm that makes me feel all warm and fuzzy every time I'm off on an international trip. Plus, who doesn't love a departure board with that good old flipboard vibe? At the check-in hall, Fiji Airways has separate check-in counters for economy and business class, as expected. Check-in and bag drop are straightforward enough, a little bit of a queue, but nothing too dramatic. About 15 minutes in total. Afterward, we've got some time to kill, so let's head to level 4 of the international terminal. But don't get your hopes up.
Hi, I'm Moira.
Then, it's through the iconic yellow departure archway to the security level, which, let me tell you, still has that chaotic but somehow familiar vibe. Good news though, they're upgrading the security layout in 2025 as I'm recording this voiceover. So maybe laptops and liquids won't need to come out of our bags anymore. Groundbreaking, I know. Onto the general departure lounge. It's getting a bit tired. The seating is quirky, with some beach chair-esque vibes, but sparse unless you're eating at one of the restaurants. Lucky for us, they're giving the place a much-needed renovation, so there's hope yet. But there is no lounge access for us today, though if we had One World or Qantas status, we could have used the Qantas International Lounge, which I have detailed before in another video. One thing that's always a win though is the full glass panels that give you a perfect view of the tarmac and approach for runway 01 right. Perfect for an impromptu airshow. Today we've got some lovely visitors to BNE, Cathay Pacific, Malaysia Airlines, Qantas and China Airlines all strutting their stuff on the tarmac. And here it is folks, our ride to Nadi. A shiny, reasonably freshly painted Fiji Airways Boeing 737-8 MAX. This beauty was delivered in 2020. We're flying economy today, and while there's no priority boarding for us, boo, things are still pretty smooth and organised. But you know how it goes. The bottleneck at the plane door is always real. Once inside, we take a stroll past business class, sadly not for us today, and settle into our economy seats at row 31. So, firstly, these seat back pockets. There are 2 sections, one mesh, one fabric. Inside, you'll find the provided headphones and safety literature and in-flight magazine. But there's a little surprise at my seat. My pocket had a hole in it, so any small items were basically a one-way ticket to the floor. Classic. Legroom is tight, especially for my 6'3/191cm, let's say stocky frame, and I'm definitely not living my best life on long journeys with this setup. But hey, we'll make it work. The tray table, standard 737 fare, and a little disappointing, but it's still dirty from the previous flight. Ew. The cabin has Boeing Sky Interior, which gives you cool ceiling lighting and adjustable air conditioning vents, a win for personal comfort. As for the in-flight entertainment, it's modern enough for 2022, nice, bright, clear display, but plot twist, it still doesn't have Bluetooth connectivity for your own headphones. So guess who's got their adapter and Bluetooth transmitter from eBay? This guy. Okay, we're ready to go. A quick taxi to runway 01 right, and after a slight hold for another plane, we're off to Nadi.
Let's go. Let's go.
The skies are gorgeous today, clear as a bell, with views over Moreton Bay and Moreton Island. Did you know Moreton Island is one of the largest sand islands in the world? And the snorkeling off the shipwrecks there is one of Brisbane's must-do activities, something I didn't do myself until I was 29, much to my regret. Now for the all-important meal service. The drink cart rolls by, house wine, Aussie and Fijian beers. Some of the fellow passengers are living the dream. For lunch, it's a beef curry with a bread roll and a chocolate biscuit. I opted for water and orange juice because I'm a basic bitch and classic hydration enthusiast. The meal tasted okay and was reasonable for this 3-hour flight across to Fiji. The view outside is a little cloudy but still beautiful as we head east away from the Australian mainland. Let's talk about the IFE again, shall we? It's quick to load and has a very responsive touchscreen. It's also really well backlit. There's a solid range of Western movies and TV shows, and yep, you know, I spent way too much time fiddling with the map. What can I say? I'm an av geek. After a movie and some TV episodes, we're approaching Nadi. A little bumpy, but nothing crazy. The tropical greenery below our approach is absolutely stunning. Now, I have visited Fiji a long time ago and visited a beautiful island. I was lucky enough to finish my PADI scuba diving accreditation and enjoy the wonderful Fijian hospitality. But not today, this is just a quick transit stop. A quick word on Fiji Airways livery. It's perfection. The colour combo of black, brown and white combined with the thatchwork pattern pay beautiful homage to Fiji's Pacific Island culture, and I'm all about it. There are very few other airline liveries with such beauty and grace in my opinion. And just like that, it's Vanaka. Thank you to the crew for a solid first leg of this Trans-Pacific journey. As you can see, Nadi Airport is pretty unique, with these open-air jet bridges and raised walkways linking the aircraft to the terminal building. Definitely not your average airport experience and gives you the full spectrum of weather and temperature, read, hot and humid. We've got a 4.5 hour layover, so we use our priority pass, which accompanied a CommBank credit card, to access the Fiji Airways lounge. Honestly, there's not much to do in this airport proper, so the lounge is a lifesaver and necessity if you ask me. There's plenty of comfy seating in various arrangements and a funky real-life plant wall, because we're modern, right? The lounge filled up as the various transit flights from Australia filled in, but it never felt crowded or too loud. The buffet has breads and dips, local tropical fruits like sweet pineapple and gorgeous dragon fruit, sweet treats, plus a full hot buffet with both local and Western dishes. There are also shower suites available, which we booked for the end of our layover to freshen up before the long flight ahead and maintain as much vitality in our souls before we check into our hotel some 20 hours after the shower. So I booked in my shower session, have my towel, and I've just come in to the shower suite. It's just been cleaned and dried, so between each use it's nice and hygienic, which is good. So let's freshen up before flying to San Francisco. Woo. The amenities are by Pure Fiji, a brand I've never heard of before. But hey, I'm all about trying new things, especially when it's shower time. And look at that, nice and refreshed. After some much needed downtime and sampling of the buffet, it's time to head back to the airside walkways and board our A330-200 from Nadi to San Francisco. Fun fact, the A330 is my favourite plane for couples travelling in economy. The 242 layout means you can avoid that awkward shuffle over a random passenger to the aisle from the seat. Now, here's the downside. No individual air vents above the seats.
I'm very close.
Now, here's the downside. No individual air vents above the seats. I know, it's a first world problem, but it bugs me. And this aircraft, being 9 years old at the time, is showing its age in many facets, especially the IFE, which is, let's just say, not as quick as the 737. The touchscreens are resistive, so you need to give it a solid press or use a pen or your fingernail to get any response. Old school, baby. Dinner time. First meal is an enchilada or burrito dish that, let's just say Levi, who picked the chicken curry, had the better experience. This was sadly inedible, but hey, we survived with the accompaniments. Luckily, with just the two of us at the window, along with our trusty pillow and blankets, we managed 6 hours of very interrupted sleep. Not bad for economy, not bad. Sausages, scrambled eggs and potatoes awaited us for breakfast. Pretty standard, but hit the spot after a long night of in-flight movie watching and snoozing. And just like that, we're almost at the end of the journey. Whilst this wasn't a direct flight, I actually found the stopover to be a bit of a blessing. It broke up the long haul grind and gave me a little breathing room before the final leg. Plus, using some of my Qantas points made the whole one-stop itinerary more budget-friendly, which is always a win. The first leg on the 737-8 MAX was perfectly fine for the short duration. Comfortable enough for a few hours with no complaints, really. The real test came with the A330 on the longer flight. It's not the newest aircraft, but it's still in decent shape. The economy experience wasn't anything groundbreaking or to write home about, but it did the job, except for that horrible burrito. The seats weren't the most luxurious, but they were decent, and the in-flight entertainment kept things from getting too dull. No real complaints, but definitely not something to rave about either. It's the kind of experience that gets you from A to B without any major drama. And let's be honest, the competition from Brisbane is also a Qantas A330. So, would I do it again? Yeah, I'd probably book this again, especially if a good business class deal popped up. That would be a no-brainer, but even if I had to stick with economy, it's definitely an option I'd consider. As long as I can get into that Fiji Airways lounge and choose the chicken curry, I'm all good. It's not a game changer, but it's definitely a nice little perk that made the experience more comfortable. The lounge, that is.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to San Francisco. We have crossed the international date line and today is still Tuesday, the 6th of December, and the local time is 8 minutes to the hour of 1. We're now approaching the terminal, and for your safety, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened. Please check your seat pocket and overhead lockers for personal belongings. And when opening overhead lockers, do take extra care, as items may have moved during the flight. For those of you who had held onto your headset, we ask that you leave them on your seat as you disembark, and we do hope you have enjoyed the entertainment. On arrival at the terminal, our ground handling staff will be available to assist you further. And on behalf of Captain Eminoni Weevil, First Officer Nicola Armstrong, Second Officer Satvikrant Singh, and your entire cabin crew, we trust you have enjoyed your flight with Fiji Airways and our codeshare partner, Qantas. It was certainly our pleasure having you all on board, and we look forward to being of service to you on your next flight. Vinaka and Nisa Mode.
Alright, so that's a wrap on this adventure, folks. Thanks for sticking with me through all the ups and downs, literally, of this flight. It's been a minute since I've uploaded, and I know life's been hectic. Being a junior doctor is no joke, but it's all part of the fun, right? Between the long shifts, the studying and everything else, finding time for travel can be tough, but I'm always on the lookout for my next escape. And hey, don't worry, I've got tons of footage from my recent travels, so expect more trip reviews coming your way very soon. In the meantime, feel free to check out my other videos for more travel tips, geek moments, and general fun, even if they are a little bit outdated. And as always, thank you so much for watching. It means the world to me. I'm off for now, but catch you later. Stay curious, stay adventurous, and as always, bye!